This is me.
Who are you?
Who are you? Snap out of it. You're not supposed to be professional.
Seth, which one do I shoot?
Which one?
Anyways, welcome to the Staring at Hot Wheels podcast.
My name's Adam.
My name is Seth.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing the most mentioned person on the podcast in the Staring at Hot Wheels podcast history, my other best friend, Ronnie Heineman.
Yeah. You got the last name pronounced correctly. I mean, we were only friends since 6th grade. So
I thought it was 8th.
no, we became friends 6th grade.
Dang,
You said 8th earlier.
we gotta do
Was
the math.
it?
Seth, we gotta do the last podcast.
Oh, maybe it was.
We gotta do the
Oh,
math again.
all right. I'm here to set this record straight then.
I
Not
think
that
I knew you since 6th grade, but we were like 8th grade year is when we were like, let's lock in and be friends.
When did I first go to your house? Because we can start there with fun stories.
Okay, we have a couple things to do before.
Okay.
But
We'll get to it, promise.
Okay.
I will tell you right now to preface this whole podcast, and this might make it even funnier. My memory is jank. Long-term memory, so bad.
I feel like I'm very confident in my memory, but I also probably have the worst.
Yeah, I'm
memory.
hoping Ronnie can pull some stuff out of the vault. This
Yeah,
podcast.
don't worry. Okay, so I'm gonna lie about a lot of stuff and be like, you gotta trust me.
I think I think I can know when stuff is a lie. Or
Okay.
not.
Do
Actually,
you remember when we killed that dude?
I don't think that
Buried in
happened,
the
Ronnie.
backyard, and then your
I
parents
do
sold that
remember
house.
when we thought it would be a good April Fool's prank to call one of our friends and tell her that I fell down the stairs
See,
and died.
I don't remember that.
Hold on.
That's the thing.
Hold on. Hey, Adam, I have a question for
Yeah.
you. Do you have a 10-minute one shot?
I have a 10-minute
Please.
one shot.
So, Ronnie, I don't know how many episodes of the
This is
podcast you've
incredible.
listened
Oh my
to.
gosh, is there dice coming up?
This is our 10-minute one shot. Totally
This is the best.
not planned at all. Like, we know we're going to do 10-minute one shot.
I have a general idea of what I'm going to do, but
Okay.
it's mostly improv and done on the spot.
Most of our guests I give a free dice to as a thank you for coming on
Oh
the show.
my gosh.
That's why I asked you what
awesome.
favorite color
I love
you
that.
have. So I could get a blue one.
Where
That
do
was
you get these
incredible.
dice?
He asked me that 15 minutes before, and somehow he pulled this out. That's incredible. If you guys, you guys can't see at home, obviously, when listening, but this is it's a bigger than usual D20. It's really nice. Looks like it's from Magic the Gathering.
It
which
is from Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, it says M21, which is not a 20. Interesting. Oh, 21 for health from getting hit by a commander, right?
No. That's,
Let's move on.
That's from the set.
Hey,
That's from the set.
10-minute one
From
shot.
Never
Okay.
mind.
All right. Do you want to hand me that?
Yeah.
Thank you. A little tray to roll it on.
All right. So, you guys ready?
Yeah.
10-minute one shot starting in 3, 2, 1. The name of this 10-minute one shot is The Departure. So, there is a small village in the middle of Faerun named Stockingsville. Ronnie, Seth, your guys' characters have grown up in Stockingsville all of your life. And because of great ambitions and big dreams, you have decided to set off from Stockingsville for some reason. We'll start with characters. Ronnie, what is your character's name and race?
I am Bird. B-U-R-D. Bird. My race?
Please say it's not an Aerocroc rat.
It's not even close to a bird.
Okay.
No.
Dog, I'm just a halfling.
Yes.
And I have glued feathers all over my back.
Okay. All right. Seth, you are Bird's best friend. What is your name and race?
My name is Jacob Fisher, and I'm a dwarf.
Okay.
We both grew up hunting fish in very different ways. I just dove straight into the water while he fished with like a hook, like an idiot. There he is. Needless to say, I was the better fisher.
We may need to restart the timer.
No, it's okay.
No, it's part of it. Anyways, so you guys are leaving Stockingsville to set off on some grand goal. What is that goal? Why you guys heading off?
Find better fish.
Catch the big one.
Catch the big one.
We gotta catch the big one.
The big one. So you guys have heard of these great, massive lakes to the east.
Oh, to the
Yeah.
east.
That's
That's where I migrate.
Wait,
You can't migrate.
Does Bird try to leave every winter and someone's
I always stop. Yeah, Jacob
He
always
always has
stops.
to convince me, like, you got that.
and then like after like 20 years of like Bird convincing you, you're finally like, all right, fine, let's go.
Let's go.
We're gonna migrate east and find the big one.
All right, so you guys step out of Stockings. Your loved ones like are living goodbye. Bird's parents also have feathers taped to them.
They're very supportive.
For him. But yeah, you guys set off on this trail leading away from your village for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So, what exactly is this big one we're searching for?
You've never heard of it.
No, you've just mentioned it several times. And I like fishing.
As do I.
Very different styles.
Very different styles. I had a dream one night.
Oh, no.
It was massive. It was golden. Over 1,000 scales and 1,000... What's the thing the fish have?
Fins?
Fins?
Fins! But yet it was in the sky.
Oh, no.
I don't know what that means. But we need to catch it.
Okay. So you have a general idea of where this fish is?
Yes.
East? Is that your general idea?
That is the closest thing I have so far, yes.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, let's keep going.
All right.
No use standing here.
So you guys are traveling for about half a day when in a crook in the road you see a man with a very flamboyant wagon parked on the crook of this road camping out. He is a gnome with bright red hair and very frilly, like, fun clothes. And he notices you guys coming, and he goes, "Oh, hello."
I'm going to go hide in the trees. You go talk to him. And I immediately climb up a tree.
Roll athletics.
Absolutely.
It's just flat rolls, by the way. No additions.
That's a 9.
Yeah, you try to climb the tree, and, like, so you're halfway up, and you're just kind of stuck there trying to get to the next like thing, and you're like in obvious plain sight. He can see you.
Hello, I'm Jacob.
My name is Gun.
Gun?
Gun.
Good to meet you, Gun.
Good to meet you, Jacob.
What can I do for you?
I'm just camping on the side of the road.
Oh, very nice.
What brings you along this path?
My friend in the tree, as you can see, had a dream of a very large fish.
Oh, really? Can you describe the fish to me?
The way he describes it, it was a very large golden fish.
I'm like sprinting behind it. It had 1,000 scales and 1,000 fins.
He like squints at you guys and goes, "Yes, I've actually heard of that fish.
I knew it.
They call it the golden fish of a thousand scales. And
I
1,000
knew
fins."
it.
I wonder why.
Actually, it's actually back in a lake through this forest.
I knew it.
But hold on. Before you go, there is a very specific way this fish must be caught.
I pull Bird to the side.
Oh, yes.
He wants money. He's about to ask for money.
I don't believe in money.
We don't have any money.
Okay. I have fish.
That's not good enough.
Okay.
So we gotta sweet talk him. So
Okay.
Let's go back.
Now see, the fish, it's very shy because it was given the gift of awareness. And so it's aware that it has no clothes on. So and it's also very fearful of weapons and of the sort.
Okay.
So, and the thing is, the fish wants to be caught. So, I'll do you guys a favor, and you leave all your stuff here with me, and then you can go in the forest and catch the fish.
Yeah, I'm not going
That
to
sounds
do that.
like a plan to me. What?
I'm not going to do that.
Well, then I guess you're not gonna catch the fish.
I pull Jacob aside. Look, I think we got on the wrong foot with this.
He's going to steal our stuff.
He's not stealing. He's very trustworthy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I turn to like look at him. Can I roll insight?
Yeah. Roll insight.
19.
Yeah, just like there's something about the way like he's small, the red hair, like side of the road, something seems off, you know.
Everything seems off about this guy.
My clothes are already off. Giving it to him. I'm completely naked right now.
Okay. I'll take good care of it while you're gone.
There are many feathers covering all parts. By the way.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
like,
I'm not going to give you my sword. It's a family heirloom. But I will give you the rest of my stuff.
and not gonna catch the fish then.
I need a deposit, though.
You need a deposit. Like
Yes.
what?
I need some sort of realization that my stuff is still going to be here when I leave.
All right, fine. Family heirloom, and he takes off like a necklace around his neck. Like, this was my grandmother's.
This is my sword.
Thank you, kind small man.
You're welcome.
Can I inspect this necklace that you just gave me?
Sure. Roll investigation.
4.
Yeah, it looks like a necklace.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like a necklace.
That is a nice necklace heirloom that you have, Jacob. Let's venture forth, because we probably only have a couple of minutes left.
Yep. So you guys venture forth into the forest. Roll survival.
Nice. 16 for me.
12.
Yeah, so you
Force.
like follow some trails and stuff. You do it pretty good, and you search this forest top and bottom, but you don't really find the lake. But what you do find is a cave, a cave with a very large opening. And when you walk up to it, you smell the smell of something burning, brimstone.
An underground lake on fire.
And then
Just like in the dreams.
as Bird says that, something slithers from within the cave, and a giant golden dragon emerges from it and stares down at you.
That's from the dreams.
Is that the fish you saw?
Yes.
This is a dragon, bud.
The dragon
Oh,
looks
no.
down at all of you and goes, the gnome has sent me yet another meal.
Hello, I am Jacob.
I'm going to eat you.
I hand out
That's
all my
rude.
fish.
Oh. And then we cut. We'll stop here. We
Dang.
cut to back to the gnome Gin putting all you guys' stuff in a box labeled other people's stuff. And the dragon emerges from the forest with you guys riding on it. The dragon eats Gin, and you guys get your stuff back, and
And I keep the necklace?
you get to keep the necklace.
Yeah!
I don't keep things. I'm a gnome.
Ronnie, so this is a running gag.
Okay.
I die in most of these 10-minute one-shots.
You haven't died in most of the recent ones. I've been trying my best.
It's been a record of 2 now where I haven't died.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I actually don't die yet.
That's sick. I love that.
We're really happy for you, Seth.
That was
Yeah.
incredible.
Very
Thank you
good.
for having me do that.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got another question for you.
Okay.
I'm down.
Do you want to see the Hot Wheel of the Week?
Absolutely.
Oh, this I've heard of.
Yes.
This I've heard of.
Today's Hot Wheel of the Week is from the HW Turbo set from 2023.
Incredible.
Okay.
Is a Renault Sports RS01. It's a very nice red car. It's from Europe.
Whoa.
And it has a top speed of 227 miles per hour.
Wow.
You
know it's a good car
Stock.
when it's an odd number.
Stock out of the factory that has no
Incredible.
manufacturing, like anything done to it.
Jeez.
Very nice red and like black color to the car. It's probably my least favorite of the HW turbos. There are some really cool ones out of that set, but still very cool. Yeah. So
Awesome.
I'll hand that over to you, Adam. It's very red.
Yeah.
I really much enjoy it. It's a good time.
It's fast. Love it. Solid Hot Wheel of the week, Seth.
thank you.
Incredible.
I almost, because our friend Ronnie here, he lives in Seattle. I almost grabbed a Tesla, just because I thought it'd be funny.
Touchy subject.
Yeah.
Say. Touchy subject.
But I didn't, because I didn't want it to be too touchy.
No, it's
Ronnie,
okay.
do you have like a dream car?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Guys, that newer 2024 Subaru Crosstrek, the blue with the yellow.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Because it's the color of the Vault Boy from Fallout.
The modern Subies are really cool.
They're
Yeah.
really
Crosstrek.
nice because you can take that camping. And it has great gas mileage. I want a hybrid one. I don't think they make a lot of the hybrid ones. I also don't own a car in Seattle.
Yeah.
It's too much money. I don't make enough to own a car.
Yeah, a lot happens to you when you have a car in Seattle, apparently.
Yeah. We can go into that later. let's put a pin in that one.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a
we
funny
will.
story. That's gonna be a funny story.
Build up to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Brian, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Like me, or were we talking about?
Yeah,
like-
you.
Okay. I grew up in Moses Lake, Washington. That is where I'm
Hey,
at.
same.
Oh. That's where I met Adam, and that's how I know all of you. I grew up with a single mom. I still knew my dad, and I saw him occasionally. But my mom raised me. I had one brother. So I would say rough times in my childhood. Adam knows some of that stuff, but overall, kind of growing up in poverty, kind of hard a lot of times, but persevered. I went to college. I was a oh my gosh, what do you call that? First gen grad.
Oh.
So first person in my immediate family, at least, to graduate college, and that's cool. Got my good old communications degree. Very proud of it. And it is just up in my closet, the certificate or the diploma, whatever it is. And yeah, I love. This is kind of gonna come as a surprise. I love video games, Dungeons and Dragons, all the nerdy stuff. I've just recently gotten into Magic the Gathering, so
And Warhammer.
and Warhammer. Warhammer is a little bit expensive now. It looks like Magic is a little bit cheaper to get into. So once I get a little bit of a pay bump, maybe we'll start going into Warhammer. I do want to get into Warhammer though. I love concerts. That's why I love living in Seattle. All the big people come to Seattle, and so I try to have a budget for that. I love traveling. I love going to Vegas. Even as a believer, I'm here to say that you can go to Vegas and also be a believer and not do all the other stuff. There's some great stuff in Vegas to do that's family friendly. I'll say that.
The roller coaster on New York.
Oh yeah, me and Seth did that. Fun backstory that the three of us went to Vegas. It was mine and Adam's first trip since after not seeing each other for so long after high school, and that was a fun time, at least for me and Seth. I don't think Adam liked it that much.
Adam had a good time.
I had a good time,
Okay.
but like the thing with it was like I needed a vacation where I put my feet up and didn't do jack.
And that is not.
There
that's
was a
not
lot of
that safe.
walking.
A lot of walking.
I am work facilities by trade,
Yeah.
physical labor, and like
Yeah.
it was not a break for me.
Yeah. That is.
And the
very,
one
very fair.
restaurant I wanted to go to was closed.
That is
Which
so.
one? Oh, that's right.
Well, we were
Yeah.
doing the Keith Lee tour.
Yeah.
and,
The
like
Japanese hot dog place.
Korean hot dog place. I
Korean
think.
hot dog place.
I was excited for that too, and it was closed because we went on a Sunday or something like that.
Yeah.
Very sad. So, and
So
also,
dumb.
it wasn't pool season when we went.
No.
And
It was
that-
November.
Yeah, and that you would have loved all the pools, but we just weren't able to make it for that. So,
Yes.
I love pools in Vegas.
Maybe some other time.
Yes. I think about me, those are the big things. Again, I live in Seattle. Not saying I love Seattle, but I am there for a purpose, which we can definitely
What
get
what
into.
brought you to Seattle?
That is a great question. So
One that I'm still finding out.
yeah. Well, I I feel like I know. So I'm part of a college church. I want to be careful. It's not a ministry. It is a collegiate church that's across the Northwest now, not just Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
It's called the Resonate Church. It is collegiate focused. We pursue college students on various campuses. I'm not going to name off all of them. You guys can look it up. But I think we're on 15 campuses now across.
Nice.
I think I can name all the states. Mainly in Washington. We also have a couple in Oregon. We're now in California, over in Chico.
Ayo.
So that's really good. And then we're all the way over in Colorado, Montana, Idaho. We have
I was
a
gonna
few
say,
in
do y'all
Idaho.
just skip Idaho?
No, we're in Idaho. We have a couple there. It all started in WSU.
Okay.
So that is where it all started 15 years now.
Nice.
And then I went to the one in Central Washington University in Ellensburg, Washington, small town. Go Wildcats. We are not as prideful as any other school.
No.
We don't have a big sports presence. But yeah, I grew up a believer. Grew up going to church. That is actually I invited Adam to the church that I was going to.
Yep. Ronnie invited me to youth group, which is the domino that led to me getting saved.
Yeah. And that was a crazy time. It was a summer camp the summer before. I guess I asked you to come, and I was like, "Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I remember
I'm-
the story.
yeah, like I'm gonna invite my friend Adam to church because he doesn't believe in God." And
Okay. The
and
people that told me this story said that you were a lot more emotional than that.
I was like crying, but like I was, I would say I was really excited because I really felt from the Lord that like you need to invite Adam to church.
Dude, my heart.
Yeah.
Dude,
Like I really felt that.
I feel a little bit emotional right
there's-
now. Sorry.
Even so, the church I invited you, the church I was part of until I went to college was Assemblies of God. So Pentecostal, very much so. Very, you're giving me a face.
I wouldn't say they were Pentecostal.
What's the word I'm missing? They're charismatic is the word at least I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, because by definition, Assemblies of God is very charismatic denomination.
Well, I mean, so there's two schools. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
like,
please do.
theology
Please do.
wise for like 2 minutes.
Please do.
So there's two schools of thought when it comes to Christianity.
Okay.
There's Wesleyism,
Okay.
which is like the leftward side.
Yeah.
Like don't think political.
Okay. Okay.
Listener, don't think political. Like putting
Yeah.
quotation. Like Wesleyan is like the one side, and they're a very high view of self, like human, like
Yeah.
God doing stuff through humans type of thing. And then there's Arminianism, which is basically like Calvinism,
Okay.
predestination.
Okay.
There's an anagram called tulip, I think. I don't know. Don't ask me. But like
Yeah.
it's right. Like tulip is one thing, and then there's one for Wesleyism. That's another thing. But like, so Assemblies of God, Free Methodist, Pentecostals, some of them, fall into like Wesleyan.
Mhm.
Then Baptist,
Yeah.
would fall into like Armenian
Yeah,
style
okay.
theology,
And that is
like
more the-
right
yeah.
forward leaning.
Yeah, and that's more the
And,
church.
yeah, that's high view of God.
yes.
Very much like, and not that Wesleyans don't have a high view
No.
of God,
No, but that makes more
but
sense.
like, like they're very much their view of God is like not like it's very a lot more like. There's probably a great word for it.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, what I was getting with that,
Yeah.
was I truly feel like there's been a few times where I very clearly felt like God speak to me or God like really put something on my heart. And that was one of the few times, was having him say like, "Hey, I want you to invite your friend Adam to church," because we talked a lot about. This was middle school,
Yeah.
or high school, I think at this point, actually.
Very early high school.
Where, you were very much like, "Oh, I'm atheist. I don't believe in this." I'm
Yeah.
very outspoken when we did start to talk about that stuff. But I was still friends with you, obviously. And so, yeah, just still pursued you and invited you. And really the rest is history.
Do you remember the conversation that we had?
No, please.
I don't
refresh me.
remember it either, but I know it went something along the lines of like, "Hey, you should come to youth group," and I was like, "That stuff is so stupid, dude."
Yeah.
And you're like, "We're having a free pizza night," and I was like, "I can try it out."
I was wondering if I'm like, there's cute girls there. Like
My mom was a very like, I would describe her as like a crunchy mom, like very healthy food type stuff.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I didn't get pizza a lot, so I was like,
any chance you did, you were like, I gotta take a
pizza.
pic.
I did, man. I love pizza.
Gotta go get this pizza.
That was
Yeah.
how my church got me into going to my first retreat into the youth group. Was I was kind of like, we don't really like have the money to do it, and my youth group leader was like, but Seth, there's good food for
Yeah.
free all weekend.
Yeah.
Like 3
Come
days
on,
of good
dude.
food, Seth. And I'm like,
Come to winter camp, man. You can have
how
nachos.
much is
Like,
I remember I went to my mom and I'm like, hey mom, I kinda wanna go to this, and she goes, okay. I'm like, but it costs money, and she goes,
ooh. Ooh.
and I'm like, but there's free food all weekend. She just pulled out her checkbook. How much is it?
How much is it? That's hilarious.
Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah,
Youth group?
so growing up in that, me and Adam were friends for a long time in that.
Yeah, we can like go into it, but not in detail.
Yeah, we
I
don't
was
have to go
thinking
into
we could do
detail.
that. I think like the best accurate way to describe it was like, to preface, we're both in high school and we both acted like stupid high school kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like there was like neither of us were like in the right at all.
No.
But like there was stuff in the friendship that Ronnie was doing that I didn't like,
Yeah.
and I felt like every time I approached him about it, he tried to like flip it on me.
In me being immature, in my head,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't think he ever.
Yeah,
actually
we were
approached things
kids
this
who
way.
didn't know how to handle conflict
No.
well, and so there was. It's funny thinking back on it. Like there was a night and like, we got to the point where I was like, oh, I don't think it's healthy for me to be Ronnie's friend anymore.
And it wasn't.
Fair.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't. And maybe it wasn't healthy for you to be my friend, because I did stuff too.
Yeah. Well, maybe a better way to say that. Maybe we just needed to actually figure out how to be friends, but I don't think we were both
that
mature
probably
enough.
would have helped us out a lot.
Yeah.
But then, so like I stopped being friends with Ronnie, and the church we were going to, they didn't handle that the best way.
No.
And so I ended up leaving that church.
Yeah.
And then I didn't talk to Ronnie after that for a long time.
a long time.
Like-
But we're friends now, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's why we went to Vegas. Not quite,
Secretly,
but like, but
secretly, you guys just still hate each other, just like.
I don't think. I mean, obviously, I never like hated
I'm
Adam.
joking,
You know?
of course, but
Okay. Well, that was a fun side tangent. But anyways, going to college, I got plugged in to a church called Resonate Church. Honestly, not until my sophomore year, my first year, I was like, I want to like kind of party a little bit, you know. Very unsuccessful in that. I experienced true depression when trying to do all that, and that's how I like came back to Jesus, which is cool. And so it's real. It's just kind of what happened. But I got plugged in with this church, Resonate Church, and I don't think I really cared about denominations then at all, and I don't think I still do, honestly. But yeah, I just got plugged in with them. I just loved how, at least at the time, I felt like how they pursued the campus and pursued me, and I enjoyed the sermons. I think what I loved about Resonate Church was I went to a few ministries and churches that were on campus, and I felt like Resonate Church's sermons really were just very real. Early on in Resonate Church, we had this pastor called Josh Martin. He's now down in San Diego. He's doing great things down there. But for a while, he was one of the people who started Resonate Church, and he was just real, man. He wasn't just trying to be like a good. Sorry, I'm phrasing that wrong. He wasn't just trying to do like feel good sermons every week. Since we were this is a side tangent. Since we were a network of churches, we watched the same sermon that WSU did essentially. So they would film the sermons at WSU, and then we would all just watch it the next week or something like that, just so we were all like connected in that. But Josh Martin, he just had very real sermons, and just very much like, this is the weight of sin. This is what it looks like to be a Christian. Like, you need to be active in your faith. And no hate to our old church, Adam, but I don't feel like that was ever taught. Kind of like what you're talking about, like Wesleyanism or Wesleyan versus Armenian. I just felt like that church actually talked about like going and spreading the gospel.
And I think it should be prefaced to say
Yeah.
that neither of those are right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's
very,
just
very
like
true.
it's
We
like
just put an
again,
emphasis on
like
that.
denomination wise.
Yeah.
Like
They just want to put an emphasis on being evangelistic, right? Which, did you know statistically, like Gen Z finds that very unethical? Isn't that crazy?
what?
finds being evangelistic very unethical. Like statistics are showing
I'm
that.
not surprised.
Isn't
Yeah,
it
I'm not surprised
crazy?
about that either.
It's like, oh, me going sharing my faith, talking about Jesus, they feel like that's wrong because like that is.
I think it's I believe because I felt this in the past. I won't say that I feel it 100% now, but I think a lot of like Gen Z, millennial, like all that kind of range,
Yeah.
all have like somehow have gained this like super big social anxiety.
Absolutely.
So evangelism scares a lot of our generation,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Because you guys are a different generation than I am.
Yeah, very,
So-
very true.
Right.
So, yeah, it's so that's what our church did, right?
Mhm.
We were very evangelistic. We would have, at the time, we would have like weekly times where we called it blitzing, where we're just going to go for an hour on campus. Excuse me. And we're going to go share the gospel. We had nights like that. We had this tool that we used called Village, and essentially that was the idea of having a family on mission. And so maybe similar to what you guys have, maybe like weekly gatherings. We would do the same thing. It's probably what a lot of churches do, whether you
Like a
call them
small
like
group?
growth groups, small groups, life groups. Ours was called Village. Like you're a small group of people on mission living towards that, and that is really what got me plugged in to Resonate. And it was just a great tool because we would have discussions about the previous sermon. We would also have food, and we also have games and stuff like that. But we just had very real conversations, and I think that's what really got me connected in Resonate. I was very moved by Resonate, being able to have it be taught to me to go share your faith rather than just keep it to yourself. And from that, when we graduated, Resonate had this big dream to plant 21 churches by the year 2021. That didn't quite happen because of everything. We have this yearly conference called Resonate Conference that happened in February 2020. If you remember, everything shut down March 2020.
Yeah.
So we were
Yeah.
still all gathering, talking about completing this mission of planting 21 church by the year 2021, and then everything shut down a month later, and we were
Yeah.
just not able to do that. We still believed in planting churches, so even though a lot of things were on pause, I believe the year after that, was it 2021 when I moved? Everything's so blurry now. I've been in. Was it 2022 that we moved? Oh my gosh. I think it was 2022 when we moved. But essentially, our site, Central Washington University, was called to plant a church in Seattle at University of Washington. That was kind of UW, go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Sorry if you're listening to this and you're not that. What is it?
Wazoo.
Wazoo. Yeah, sorry. Nobody at UW cares, by the way. Nobody. They just care about being a future doctor, unlike you guys. Ooh.
just the people who play football.
Brother.
Yeah. WSU does have great engineers. I'll say that. But anyways, sorry. Just had to do some fun banter. But yeah, in 2022, I believe, yes, I moved my life over to Seattle along with 14, 15 other people, and we started a church at UW, pursuing college students.
Out of curiosity,
Yeah.
out of those like 14, 15 other people,
Yeah.
how many other people have stuck around?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. The first year, it was a little interesting.
I don't want to say stick around. That's the wrong
No,
term.
that's fair. How many people are still like around with
Yeah.
our church? So I'll kind of give you a bit of a timeline and be quick about it. But the first year, I would say out of those 15 people, I think it was 17. Let's go 17.
All right.
Out of those 17 people, one person about 2 weeks in decided it's not what she wanted. I'm not naming names. I'm still really good friends with that person. And it's great. They're part of another church. They just realized college ministry is not what they want to do.
Sure.
And so they left pretty quickly. That's fine. When we first started it, we were asked to like give 2 years towards that, right? And so we were hoping that everybody who's there would give at least 2 years towards planting this church. And after the first year, most people stuck around. There were a couple of people on our team who, they didn't sign the form saying like, hey, I'm going to be here for 2 years, and that's fine. They were there for the first couple or the first year or so with that idea. So what I'll say is the first year, everybody who said I'm going to give my 2 years stayed the entire 2 years, minus the one person, but that's okay. They're still going and doing great things. It's okay if we don't always do college students. Now with it, we're in year 4. I would say from those 14 or so, 2 more people have left to join a different church. Again, it's nothing bad out of that, no malice or anything. They were just called to other things, and that's great. And we even had like a commissioning time for them.
Sure.
Like us as a church publicly saying, hey, they're moving on to this. That's great. We want to commission them to that. Because we've had a lot of people in our network of church, and even back when I was in Ellensburg, leave the church very harshly for some valid reasons. Some, their sin was called out and they just didn't like that, if I'm being honest. And so there was a lot of moments of that. So I think we want to be very intentional when people are leaving our church to communicate honestly that's on a good note. And we've done that. In that, man, we've had the church grow. We've had a lot of people years later move and still be part of our church because honestly, you're in Seattle. And so people at all the other sites I was kind of talking about, if they want to move to be an engineer, a lot of the jobs are in Seattle. So we've had people who, maybe not a lot of engineers, we're still working on that. But a lot of people who moved to Seattle because they found jobs there are just also still plugged in to Resonate there. So we've had a lot of people move from other sites, a lot of people who moved who just heard about Resonate and stick around. I had one good friend, I'll name him Ben. He had an amazing 2.5 years. He gave it his all. He's from Alabama. And so he was a Boeing engineer. He's awesome. He gave his 2.5 years there and just felt called to go back to Alabama. He had a rough time. He had so many bike accidents. Bike, like mountain biking. Yeah. So like 2, I think almost 3 like really bad crashes. One where like his entire face was like scraped up. Maybe this is spiritual warfare. I don't know. It may have been. But like, cause he had so many like bike accidents, but he loved biking. So there was one time he crashed. His whole face was like messed up and we took him to the ER. It turns out he just had like a mild concussion and just really badly scraped up. But that was a big scare. Another time he got hit by another biker and they like totally cussed him out or whatever. And I think it was the 3rd time he crashed. And on top of that, we've had 2 other people with their bikes get hit by cars or buses since being in Seattle. And I'm like, bro, I am never buying a bike ever in Seattle. I am just taking the bus. 2 people have lost teeth from falling on their bike, dude. I don't want a bike. You've convinced me not to ride a bike. Otherwise, I'm like wearing a mouth guard if I'm gonna ride the bike.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was
off on a quick tangent. Bike accident. I have a funny bike accident story. I think it's funny. Okay. Because it happened to me. Okay. So I was out mountain biking November of 2020. I was out mountain biking up in the hills here in Wenatchee, and it was icy. That's the best way I can describe it. It was muddy in places and icy in other places. Ice and bikes don't mix.
They do not. Absolutely not.
So I'm going around a berm on this hill, and I hit the berm wrong with my back tire, and my whole bike flies out from underneath me. And there's a tree, and my body was horizontal, and I slammed my back into a tree, and I slid down the tree, and I'm laying on the ground, and I'm just like...
Dude, you Looney Tunes that.
Dude, I'm laying on the ground, and I'm just like, ow. And I start praying, and I'm like, good. God, okay, I'm going to wiggle all my toes and everything.
And you're going to...
If you paralyzed me, you gave me a reason to paralyze me. And I know someone will come and help. And I wiggled my toes, wiggled my fingers. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can stand up. And I stood up with great difficulty. And then I drove home.
But you stood up.
Then I couldn't walk for about 3 days. Oh, it hurt to walk. Like,
that sucks.
Like, I have moments where, like, it's really stiff and I kind of, like, limp while walking. Yeah, dude, this was, like, I would stand up and it felt like my whole spine compressed every time I stood up.
You sprained a couple discs maybe, dude.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I don't go outside.
That's why you just sit at home.
Adam's a smart guy.
Yes, sir.
Adam's a smart guy. Another tangent. I'm so sorry. When GTA 5 was like online, me and Adam used to go dirt biking in GTA 5,
sick.
and that was like our outdoor time. Like when we were growing up, So we would just go dirt biking.
Dude, GTA 5 online days were so fun.
Those
we
were
had
good,
so
yeah.
many inside jokes and things we did.
So many.
It wouldn't surprise me, like, to be honest, if you guys were in a lobby with Hayden and I at one point. Like,
Oh, probably.
I would not be surprised at all.
Probably.
And Hayden and I probably would have terrorized you guys because we just went around and griefed everyone.
Here's the thing. Adam and I didn't do missions. We played golf. Like
we played golf. We would just travel around in our cars and talk. Dude, it was such a vibe. The one story I will tell that I remember was like, I think I died and I spawned on top of a bridge and Ronnie came to pick me up and he was on like the bottom of the bridge, like under the bridge. A little bit. And so I was like, Ronnie, I'm gonna kind of like shimmy over and see if I can like fall down gracefully and like just kind of like do that, you know. And so my guy climbed over the top of the bridge, and this is from Ronnie's perspective, and he's just sitting there waiting in the car, not looking up, and he says, "You coming?" And like the perfect amount of time he said before "you coming," my guy slipped off the bridge, so he said "you coming," and I just smashed into the windshield.
It was incredible. There's so many moments like that.
Timing. It was so funny.
Me and Adam on GTA Online, we role played as like bounty hunters years before they did any sort of bounty hunting. Which when that got announced, I was like, "Gee, I wish we like still played." Like, I'm pretty sure us not being friends
because when we weren't friends. And
I think it was after we started being friends again. It finally came. No, I think it came out when we still like weren't pals. But I was like, man, that would have been cool. But no, we always dressed up like really nice. Had one company car that was like one of the nicest cars, and that was our company car because it was like the same colors like the logo that we made.
That's cool.
That was incredible.
It was great.
We would come home, and this is the last thing I'll say. And then I'll talk more about the church I'm part of. We wouldn't call each other because I don't know. At least back then in high school, girls would go home and they would call each other, right?
Yeah.
Me and Adam did not do that. However, we got on GT Online and got on the headsets, and we would just drive around the entire map and talk about our day or whatever, or just talk about things going on. And that was like some of my favorite moments, like of us, just like in high school, just like.
I can't wait for GTA 6 to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be the
awesome.
same thing again, except we're all busy and you're married, and so you're gonna have to schedule in time for that.
She'll let me play, dude.
I know.
She lets me play now, dude.
Okay,
Let's play Minecraft now.
I'm on Minecraft
That's true.
almost every day.
That's very, very true.
So,
Yeah.
another question I have out of those like 12 or 17 people that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Did any of them go off and plant churches somewhere else?
The short answer, no.
Okay.
Resonate Church has planted a couple churches. Typically, what they'll do is that they'll take one site, try to find people from that one site, and send them all there.
Okay.
Not the case for UW because we wanted a lot of people to go to UW, so we kind of split it between Central and Wazoo. So we had a lot of Wazoo people come with us as well, which is really ironic when you think about it.
Yeah, it is super ironic.
And so we had a lot of people come from that. So nobody at least in Seattle, who has moved there has gone off to plant churches.
Okay.
Honestly, because urban church planting is very different than church planting at a small college town.
Yeah.
All right. In urban church planting, especially UW, UW students are a different breed. Like really, like honestly, respect to them, because these people, I mean, all the classes are set up to be, you're going to be a future doctor, you're going to be a future lawyer. Excuse me, I'm a little gassy right now. You're going to be this future big person, and you need to take all the classes. You need to be part of all the things, and you're not going to have time for all this stuff. And I think to a point, we're just very thankful for the students who have said yes, because it's a big yes to also, on top of all the classes that you're part of, all of the clubs that you need to be part of, everything, all the extracurricular stuff, and still say yes to, hey, I'm going to lead and serve in this church.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, we can ask a lot. Like if you're village leading, if you're going to be a village leader, that's like almost a part-time job in and of itself,
Yeah.
and so things are just slower in that. So I think we're really good where we're at. In year 4 and then going into year 5 this next school year, we're going to have, for the first year, it'll be just students leading, not people who moved not people who moved to Seattle leading, the villages.
You were telling me that in the car earlier.
Yeah. That, there's a lot of, at least years past, is people who have full-time 9-to-5 jobs also leading this village, which is a lot, especially when you're trying to lead like college students. It's just not going to be the same. You know, I've gotten to the point even to where I'm on the college campus, but I'm 27, right?
Yeah.
And it's a little bit different, especially in just today's
It feels
climate.
a little weird.
Feels a little weird. Trying to pursue like college students who are, you know, hey, you're 18, I'm 27. They're gonna have questions of like, why are you on campus? And I'm like, well, cause I love you. No, wait, no, that's not
that
what I
sounds
mean. I
weird.
mean, cause Jesus, and so it gets weird.
Because Jesus.
Yeah,
loves you.
because Jesus loves you, and they're like, I'm gonna go. And so, you know, I think our goal for everybody who moved there, because we didn't move with any students. Nobody who moved over there. Everybody was already graduated. We had one guy named Kevin, but he was an online student for WSU.
That's the perfect name for this guy.
Exactly, yeah, Kevin. Oh, he's great. But he moved over there, and he was an intern for the church, and so that was great. But he still wasn't like a UW student, so we had like no in the first couple years, honestly. And so that was a struggle. But thankfully, again, you know, build it and they will come, right?
Yeah.
For a while, we were questioning if that was even the case, because the first year, again, we didn't really have a lot of students coming. Thankfully, we do now. But thankfully, that model has worked of, okay, we're going to build this church, we're going to meet, we're going to advertise about it, and hopefully students come. Thankfully, we do have some student leaders now, and that's great. So
I'm sorry, Adam. I feel like I'm taking all the questions.
That's fine.
But say they were to ask you
yeah,
to go somewhere else and
Yeah.
help plant another church,
Yeah.
would you?
I would need to pray on that. So that's a big
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Because right now
We're trying to ask the big questions. Here,
Yeah,
Ronnie.
yeah.
That's what the Stereo Hot Wheels podcast
I am
is about.
yes, thank you, and I am here to talk about it. I am now just transitioning out of my role of leading the college village
Yeah.
and moving to the young professional side, because we still have young professionals who are not doing college ministry, but we still want to pour into them, obviously. And so I'm transitioning more into that, pursuing more of like North Seattle area with hopefully my coworkers. A lot of us do work at UW, and so we are just trying to like pursue them and tell them who Jesus is. And so I'm kind of transitioning into that. I just want to be confident that the church can still thrive without me.
Sure.
And we'll see how this next year goes with just students taking over, and see if if it would need me. So the idea of starting new again does scare me, because the first couple of years looking back, I think the first year, all of us were depressed. Like all of us were
Getting
just
out
so
of
sad.
2020.
Yeah, like all of us were just really comfortable in our small little college towns and like in a developed site. We're all really comfortable with that. Yeah, and again, 2022, we were still kind of going through and stuff. Going into Seattle weather, we had experiencing the Seattle freeze, and all of that stuff. It was a big transition. Some people a lot easier than others. Me, man, I'm like I struggled a lot. I struggled to feel like the people who I moved with, who I felt were my best friends back home, were still my best friends there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of spiritual warfare that I faced. I didn't feel like I had a best friend the first couple of years, even though my best friend was there. It was just hard, and maybe there was
I
conflict
didn't know
there.
you lived in Seattle.
I go in and out.
Oops, sorry.
Sorry,
My
I'm
other
joking, I'm
best
joking.
friend. My other best friend.
I'm joking. Sorry.
But it was a struggle. There was definitely a lot of depressing times. And I don't think, because we were still so small, I didn't know how to navigate that myself. I didn't know how to ask for help, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
There was a couple times I did, but I don't think we had the answers quite yet. Because I still felt like we were so small, and I was just like trying to hang out with people. And a lot of times, you church plant with people, and those are your friends, right? You don't get to choose that, just like how you don't get to choose your family. And I don't think I always enjoyed the people who we church planted with the first couple of years.
Sure.
People who were introverted, didn't want to go out and go to concerts. They didn't want to go and explore, or if they did, I'm like, maybe I just don't like hanging out with you all the time. And that, again, that's super not great. But that was the thing I really felt.
Yeah.
The first couple of years, honestly. And something just clicked, I think, in at the end of the second year, beginning of the third year, where the people that we moved with and everything, started to kind of hang out a lot more and be more intentional with that. Kind of going back to your question. I would have to give it another year and kind of process what that would look like.
Sure.
I would need to ask a lot of questions of, okay, how many people are moving? Can I please get to know people before they move? Where are we going?
Yeah.
A lot of people would say it doesn't matter where you go, and I think that's true.
We're going to small town Washwa,
kinda-
Alabama.
I kind of miss that, dog. Like that's another thing is that I think I can confidently say living in Seattle, I think there's more times I dislike it than I like it.
Yeah.
And I live in Seattle for the gospel, right? Because Seattle had, kind of talking about Romans 1, God giving, was it Rome he's talking about? In Romans 1? Rome, never mind. Cut that part out. But
we
God,
stay everything.
yeah, okay,
dog.
there you go. God giving Rome up to their sin, right? This is at least a theology that I align with. It's Rome, you want it, then you can have it. If you don't want me, then you are fully going to be in your sin and you're going to live in that. Hopefully one day you moving back to the Lord's grace. That's what Paul is talking about. That's very, very paraphrased, but that's what Seattle is. I believe that, God has not given up on Seattle. That is not what I'm saying, but God has allowed it to live in the sin that it chooses all the time. There's been many coworkers who have moved from conservative states to Seattle because it was safer for them, right? I'm not talking about politics here, but I'm just saying there's definitely an ideology of I'm going to run away from this bad thing and have Seattle be the safe haven. And it's not the gospel. Seattle's not the gospel. It's very hard to meet people who are also believers in that city. And sometimes that can be really hard, but it needs the gospel. That's not why I don't like living in Seattle. I just miss living in a small town. Like that's really what it is. It is as simple as that. I grew up in Washington, population of 20,000 people, going to school in a city with 15,000 people, and then jumping to Seattle. That's if you include all of outer Seattle, like over 1 million people.
Yeah.
Big jump.
Ronnie, there's a simple solution here.
I'm not moving to Wenatchee.
Okay.
That's another thing. I'm like, where's
Ronnie,
the job market?
I love you enough to never ask you that. Seth and Greg, they'll ask you that.
They absolutely will.
I do it jokingly because it makes you
Greg,
mad.
I don't think he's joking.
I don't think Greg is joking
I think he
either.
just loves me.
Love you, Greg.
Greg
Yeah.
just is like, friends, more friends, come
Yeah.
here.
And I totally respect
That's
that.
totally fair.
Tru-
I say it because I know it makes you annoyed. So.
Trust me, there's times where I'm like, man, like Seth, Adam, Greg, those are my boys,
Yeah.
but I don't think I can live in Wenatchee,
Yeah. I know.
Dude,
Yeah.
it just makes the time with you even more better.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate
Okay,
that.
I have one more churchy question, then
Yeah.
we can move on to fun stuff.
Sure.
Leading up
Believe that.
into like your move to like Seattle,
Yeah.
like what like encounters with the Lord did you have, or experiences, or like what was just like your thought process of like, yes, this is something that I'm going to do? Like, was there like a clear moment where like you felt a peace about moving to Seattle? Or,
Yeah. That's
take me through that.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Because I think out of most people, so there are some people who moved who they did feel that very clear calling to Seattle, right? Like from the Lord, they had the time with the Lord, and they felt very called. Like, yes, the Lord is calling me to this. I see moving to Seattle, planting a church there, as more of an open door. I think I did ask the Lord a lot of, okay, where do you want me to go after college? Do you want me to stay in Ellensburg? Do you want me to move to Seattle? Do you want me? I mean, there's really only 2 options, but there was other churches planting as well. We had friends move to Salt Lake City. Do you want me to go to Salt Lake City, Lord? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to go to a different church? And I believed any one of those options could have been obedient to the Lord, and it was just about choosing one. And so I had a lot of open doors. And at least at the time, I think I went with the one that was most attractive. Right. Church planting with Resonate. That is something that's been preached for a while. I'm like, yes, I want to be able to do that. I did feel called to church planting. Let me backpedal a little bit, actually. Because I did have a lot of lot of options. I did feel at one time God calling me to church planting. Now you could really get into, was that because I'm in a church that's talking about church planting? Would it still be called if I wasn't part of a church that's called to church planting? I don't know. But at least at the time, I felt like church planting was a good option in that would be honorable to the Lord, right? That would be pleasing to the Lord because I'm here to serve him, right?
Right.
Believing in, when he's talking in Matthew, this is something that Resonate preaches a lot, going out to the nations, right? Baptizing people in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, to go out and preaching God's word. And so, I think it was just a choice that I decided to make. And I felt like if I stayed in Ellensburg, it would have been just as honorable, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people saw in me that I wanted to move to Seattle, so a lot of people did encourage me. A lot of people were like, hey, we're building this team, right? And we want you to be part of it. I could have said no and stayed. I could have, and I said yes and went. But I don't think there was a clear yes, Ronnie, I want you to move to Seattle from the Lord. But I still feel like that was not the wrong answer, right?
Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do going into and getting a communications degree?
No.
Did you have a vision past Ellensburg when you first got there?
That's a great question. I think I did want to go to a big city, right? And I think Seattle kind of seemed like the clearest option because I felt like my world was so small, right? Growing up in small town America, I didn't even think about all the possibilities outside of it, or man, that would have been scary. I want to go somewhere that's familiar because I knew about Seattle, and so I went to college and I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I think you remember that.
Yeah.
I think for 2 seconds we were like, let's go to Central and become teachers, and that didn't happen whatsoever.
I think because I hit a point in youth group after that one summer camp where I was like, oh, I want to be a pastor.
Yeah, that's true.
So I went down that route.
That was I remember that.
Before
as well.
that, I don't remember what I wanted to do.
I don't think you really had any idea, and that's
I was
okay.
kind of whatever.
But then you were called to ministry, and that's very, very different.
Yeah.
And so I think as I went through college, I realized I loved planning events, which I think I kind of saw in high school as well. We planned a going away party for our youth pastor back in the day when she announced that she was leaving.
Yeah.
And I planned this big party. And I had somebody in that, I won't say names, but somebody in that was like, Ronnie, you're really good at planning parties. And I'm
Really?
You know what? I am kind of good at planning parties.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but one time it was Halloween time. Yeah. You went up to my mom.
Oh.
Went, hey, so I want to have a Halloween party here, out of the blue.
Totally.
I want to have
didn't talk to Adam.
Didn't talk to me. No. Didn't talk to my mom. Just walked up and I was like, so I want to have a Halloween party here. I'm going to need this, 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 and this. And mom went, good luck.
I think she did say that.
I was like,
that sounds like something your mom would say.
That is so
Yeah.
I don't remember me saying that, but that's crazy. I'll have to ask your mom about that.
it was just kind of the audacity.
I really like your mom, Adam. I was thinking about that.
I like your mom too.
Hey, how about you guys stay with my mom?
No, I'm married. I'm good.
Okay.
Your mom's awesome.
No, I'm not joking about this. Where I a month ago, I was laying in bed and Haley wasn't home. I shouldn't have said that.
What, dude?
What's going on, dude?
But I was like, man, Adam's.
Are you repenting right now?
Adam's.
Are you?
No, I was sitting and I was like, man, Adam's parents were really nice when they were here for his wedding. That was it. And I legitimately was thinking about it for 5 minutes.
I'm just curious because I don't remember this happening because that weekend was a blur for me and I did not get a chance to just chill and have conversations. But did you go and have a conversation with my parents?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably a 15-minute conversation with both of them.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no idea.
Your dad called me Joey during his speech.
I know.
That was hilarious.
That was great.
It was just so. It was so.
I
funny.
don't think he ever learned what my actual name was.
Probably not.
He called me Rick. He called me James.
That's hilarious.
And,
James, dude.
James.
James is a hot.
He called me Sam too. That was the older one. He called me 3 different
Okay,
names.
so it's not just me. But I thought it was hilarious during his speech. We've known Joey for a long time.
I was dying.
I'm not Joe. Do I look like it? That's so funny. Your
And
dad's
then you got to
hilarious.
say something. So I'm Ronnie.
Yeah.
I think I called you Joey the rest of the night.
Yeah, I'm like, please call me Joey. I am Joey for the rest of the night. That was fun.
So I would love to know,
Yeah.
when people like ask like what stories stand out to you from our growing up together, which ones do you think of? What comes to mind?
Oh man.
I think I can name one.
Which
You didn't
one?
grow up with us.
I know, but I have one in
But
my
you've heard
head
stories.
that you've told me about. I believe it was your brother,
Yeah.
and he like went and like raided a garbage can or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
I don't remember this.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
I think you're wrong.
Okay,
Dude.
I think I'm wrong.
Well, give me a second because there is
Yeah.
so many. You might have to prompt my brain a little bit.
I'm just thinking about like the stuff we got into at like the camps we went to, like winter camp.
This is the
I have one in
weekly
my head.
thinking session.
I have one in my head.
Yeah.
I'll share a story.
Okay, you share
Then
a
maybe
story.
that'll,
I
like,
have a
stir
lot.
something.
I
So-
just can't remember them all right now.
We went. This
Ronnie
is one
was
of my
making a list on the way here.
This is one of my this is one of my favorite stories. So we were at winter camp,
Yeah.
and the way that like these bunk houses, we say these bunk houses,
Okay, yeah.
and the way these bunk houses was, they were in rows and they were right next to each other. So you basically had someone like right next to you, and then someone like at your feet,
Mm-hmm.
and then like they were bunks so
yeah.
above you. And so I was in the middle row on the right, and Ronnie was at my feet, and then our leader was at my head, and then I don't remember who was other was like situated, and we were boys, youth group boys at a camp.
Absolutely.
Hilarious.
Right.
Which is the best combo.
Yeah.
And
Hilarious
so
people.
when they say go to bed, we're really not going
You
to
don't
bed.
Heck
get that.
no, we're
And
not
so
going
we're
to
all
bed.
like laying there and we're all talking smack, and then Ronnie says something to someone. I think his name was River.
River.
And
Yeah.
he said something to River, and River reached over, grabbed your pillow, ripped it away from you, and tossed it upwards. The guy above River caught it and tossed it backwards, and so now this pillow's in rotation.
Yeah, I have
Right?
no idea because it's pitch black. It is
So-
pitch black in this
so
bunkhouse.
Ronnie,
Everyone
there's
else is
there's
sleeping.
a tiny bit of light,
Yeah,
tiny bit from the window, and so this
it's moonlight. That's
this
what we have.
moonlight, and so this guy, Ronnie gets up, starts running around trying to get his pillow, and so I get up, reach down, grab Ronnie's blanket.
I'm in underwear, by the way. I need
To-
people to know. I
toss it above me. That guy toss it. Blankets in circulation. Seth.
I am
And so-
I am now running, if I may. I am now running around to these like 6 bunks that we have. By the way, there's 20 bunks in this entire place, and there's just our corner that's like just we're trying to be quiet, and because I'm not trying to wake people up, so I'm like scrambling, going to all the bunks, trying to grab my blanket, trying to.
I
This
have
sounds
this-
like bullying. I promise you, it's not.
I
It was
have this
funny.
memory of
Boys.
someone from another youth group going, man, those Moses Lake kids are wild.
I'm trying to freaking grab. I eventually get my pillow
Yeah,
and my blanket
so
back, and I walk back.
Eventually, Ronnie gets his pillow and his blanket. And at this point, like they're still doing it. I'm laying like there facing like just like facing up, just laughing, for about 5 minutes. And then I hear Ronnie get his pillow and blanket, and he walks back around, gets to this bunk. I just hear him go, "Oh my god!" And I look down at my feet, and his mattress,
my mattress
is gone.
gone.
Like it's like an empty space, wooden square where his mattress used to be, and it
I'm
is
dying of laughter.
gone. I almost rolled out of my bed because I was dying of laughter.
Everybody
so
was
far.
laughing, dude.
It
It was so funny.
I don't know how someone was sneaky enough.
I think
with
River
Ronnie
just
running
very quickly-
around to just grab his entire.
Where was it?
I think River had it, like under his bed or something
Yeah,
like that.
they
on
put it
the
in
other
like
side.
the coat closet or
Yeah.
something like
we
that.
we eventually got it back, but it was so funny that like I took all this time. What's
Can
up?
I tell you all a quick retreat story? So we didn't
Absolutely.
have camps. We had retreats. That was
Sure.
what our church, when I was in youth group,
I would
called
say,
them.
yeah.
They
one of the same.
they changed the name now. Now it's camps, but as far as I know, it's still camps. But it was my first retreat. I have been a Christian when this story takes place for maybe 12 hours.
Okay.
I need to make that really clear. Because like my story a little bit is like I got invited to youth group. I went. They went, hey, you should go to this, and gave me a flyer to retreat. First night youth group, and I'm spending $125 to go to this retreat. And I go on a bus with a bunch of people I don't know. Apparently my wife was on the bus. Didn't know.
Ayo.
And then I was at the retreat, and we're in this like big like dance hall basically with a bunch of chairs set up. And I recognized I was praying for the first time. And I'm like, God, if there is like, if this is real, if you're real, like you gotta hit me with something. And then a Jolly Rancher hit me in the back of the head.
Ayo.
It's incredible.
But then the next day, I had just taken a shower. Now, apparently, there's an unwritten rule at the time. I think it's changed quite a bit now. But at the time, there's an unwritten rule where you're supposed to wear swim trunks when you take showers at retreats.
Boo.
We didn't do that. We had curtains.
We'll go back to that.
That's not the reason.
Yeah.
But there's this guy, and I'm not going to say his name. He may have been challenged a little bit, though. That's fine. I'm not dissing it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
People can be they're made in God's image.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We're on the same page, right?
And yes, we are. I had just gotten out.
Sorry, dude.
I had just gotten out of the shower, and I was like drying off. I'm still in the shower curtain area. I'm drying off in there, and I hear a window open. I'm like, all right, that's fine. And I come out of the shower, and this guy, he sees me and he yells, like really loud, yells. I kind of freak out, and then he runs at me, and with unbelievable strength, picks me up, rips off my towel, and throws me out the window and shuts it. And then they had locked the window and the door. Remind you, I've been a Christian for 12 hours.
And you stopped being a
I
Christian
haven't learned
for 2.
forgiveness yet.
I hadn't learned anything about what God is quite yet.
You haven't memorized Bible verses yet.
No, not at all. And so I'm naked, completely naked.
It was a winter cap, right?
It was like October.
Oh, interesting. Anyways.
And the girls' cabin is probably 500 feet away from the boys' cabin. And they're doing Bible study on the porch. And they see this 15-year-old covering.
Lawyers should never hear about youth group shenanigans.
Oh, never.
Absolutely not.
And I then run into the woods. That was the first
Not
thought
where
I
your
had.
clothes were at.
That was the first thought I
You
had.
were naked and ashamed. Genesis 1 right there, dude. Not Genesis 1, but Genesis.
And then finally, my small group
Hiding
leader
from God.
heard about it and ran into the woods and found me.
You say, "Where are you?"
I'm
You said-
hiding like this.
You're
in a
Adam
bush.
right now. You were Adam. You were Adam. You were
Yeah,
shamed.
it was a shame.
He's like, Seth, where are you? And you're
Or-
like, I hid because I'm naked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like,
And-
who told you you were naked?
You naked. Sorry.
You're good.
Dude, it's hilarious.
Dennis, my small group
This is the
leader.
best.
He was the best. I love Dennis. He's awesome.
Is that another name for God? Is
Dennis.
Okay, I'm done.
He goes, Seth, it's okay. I have a towel for you. And I'm like, that's how this whole mess started. That was what I exactly said back to him. And he goes, don't worry. Insert person's name is in trouble.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And I went back to the cabin, and there's a bunch of senior boys in there, and they're all like, Seth, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, getting thrown out a window naked isn't the funnest experience.
Bro,
And then we had Bible study.
dude, this girl's Bible study, they saw this building and they
Oh
saw a
my
window
gosh.
goes, psh, and then like a naked, just
A naked 15-year-old.
That is the definition of girls ministry versus guys ministry. Just active hazing.
And
Just
do you want to know what we studied for Bible study?
What's that?
That's like 15 minutes after this. We studied about David, Saul asking David to go get him 200 foreskins.
That was the Bible study you
that
had?
was the Bible study.
What?
That is what you guys are
That's
studying?
wild, bro.
Yeah.
You could have talked about the woman at the well,
No.
dog. You could have.
No.
That's like my favorite one. I don't know about you, but
I think they're
talk
trying
about
to
anything else.
I think they're trying to get. In my mind, this is thinking back. This is what my thinking is that they're trying to get teenage boys interested in the Bible, and so they went far into the extreme.
I would like to do the next podcast of any other Bible study. We'll do top 20 Bible studies that you should do for new believers that aren't about getting 200 foreskins. I have one. Any other ones? And pick one. David and Goliath? Heck,
Perfect.
let's talk about when King David saw a woman naked and sinned from that. I prefer that than go find 200. You're going to say that? And if you're like a literalist of the Bible, you're going to be like, all right, I guess this is like what the game is for the rest of the weekend. I need to go get 200 foreskins to please God. Like, like you go to the challenge kit. Hey, what's up, dude? With a pair of rusty scissors. Like,
Jeez.
sorry, dude. I really devolved this. But
No, that was my story. That's what I had for
Oh,
you. That was my
man.
retreat. My funniest retreat story.
that's incredible.
Ronnie, you had time to think yet?
I've had so much time to think. We went. Oh man, do you remember Creation Fest?
Yes.
Creation Fest was great. So youth group, we were trying to be the edgy youth group, and we were listening to not just Mercy Me all the time. So we listened to Family Force 5, and we loved Family Force
Dude,
5.
Family Force 5
Who are
was-
these people?
Oh, I have. Okay.
Hold up, wait a minute, put it. That song,
No clue.
Country
No clue.
Gentleman.
No.
Oh, dude, you missed out, I suppose. So
I was secular until I was 15.
that's fair.
They're probably phased out by the time you got
Probably.
to high
Probably.
school.
Yeah.
Family Force 5 was a Christian Southern rap group that we listened
Sick.
to all the time in youth group. All right, that was our jam. Creation Fest was not too far away from where we lived, and you could get tickets for going there at night when Family Force 5 was playing. And your mom, Adam, was very generous in getting us tickets to that, which I still thank her for that. I probably thanked her a lot. Maybe I didn't then. I don't know. But we went to go see Family Force 5 live. That was amazing. That was incredible. We all go to their autograph signing. We have like CDs there or whatever. And the lead singer there is like Xing people's hands and everything.
Straight edge.
Yeah, pretty cool. Well, like he's doing that. And we're wondering why he's doing that. Also, like we're meeting Family Force 5 in person. We're like, oh my god, it's Family Force 5. You guys are incredible. We love you so much. Oh my gosh. And Soul Glow Activator was like a stage name. And we get up to him and he's like Xing people's hands. He's like, yeah, if you have the sex and you show it to our late night
Well, I
show
think
later on.
I remember telling him like, "Hey man, like your music is like what got me into youth group,
Yeah.
and that got me saved."
Yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like it was a great entry level of like knowing like, hey, what are they singing about? Oh, they're singing about God. But yeah, so he's Xing people's hands, and he's like, yeah, if you have this X in your hand during our late night show, because they did like a DJ show later that night, you can dance on stage with us.
That's cool.
And I was like, oh my.
They had their
For
new
what?
remix album coming out.
Oh,
I
that's
think
right.
what
They were
were doing
promoting
it
that.
for.
But it was so cool because we just got to go on stage and like dance with Family Force 5. And I'm like, I'm crying right now. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it so much. That was
Did
like,
you do it too?
yeah,
so
he was up there.
Nice.
I think Adam got tired
I
and he
had
was just,
asthma still,
Mm.
so
Oh.
I was like,
so dancing a lot was not great. But so we were on there for a little bit, but it was a really cool time.
I think we even had a moment where there was a guy in line in front of us, and they tried to get on the stage, and they were like, "Where's your ex?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't get one." Like, well, you can't come
Oh,
up,
yeah.
and they left, and then we were all like, flicked our wrists. Like,
Oh, that's right. We're just like, this is ours, man. That was a really cool night for youth group. I'm trying to think if we did anything like besides, the one story at like all the camps and everything. I feel like Adam and I were always just trying to like chase girls or something every time we were at any sort of like winter camp or summer camp or whatever like that.
yeah.
Besides my first retreat, I was always dating someone every time I had a retreat.
That's awesome.
No, it wasn't. It was
No, it's not
opposite
awesome.
of awesome actually.
No.
But I give you some more time to think. I need to bring back a question that I asked you guys earlier in the week.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Thank you.
So I'm gonna tell the audience this question first before I bring back up your guys' answers, because you guys, as far as I know, you don't know what each other's answers
No,
are.
but I know what I said.
So the question I asked both Adam and Ronnie and a few other people, but those don't matter because they're not on the podcast, was if you could pick a food and you had to eat the most of it in 12 hours, what food would it be, and how much of that food could you eat? I'm going to give my answer first. There's a local burger joint in town. It's called Bernie's. They have the best burger on the planet Earth, and you can fight me over it.
Okay.
Let's go. And I feel like I could easily choke down in 12 hours 15 to 20 plain cheeseburgers from Bernie's. Now, Ronnie, no, I'm going to go with Adam first. Adam said that he, in 12 hours, could eat 300 Pocky sticks.
Confidently. I believe in you.
Yeah, with water, right?
Yeah, water's allowed.
Water's
yeah,
allowed.
dude.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no
So
way.
Easy.
pretty tame.
Yeah.
Pretty tame. I am gonna give Hayden's too. He's my best friend for 19 years. He's been my best friend.
Yeah.
Hayden said that in 12 hours he could eat 2 Costco-sized bags of mozzarella string cheese.
I believe that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I have known Hayden one day, and I believe he could eat that.
Okay. Now I'm gonna go to Ronnie's because I think you're gonna laugh.
Okay.
Ronnie said that he could eat 150 street tacos in 12 hours. Confident.
Come on.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Tell
have
me.
no belief
Tell
in
me.
you.
I think you do that.
I have no belief
Remember,
in you.
street tacos
I-
are like the palm of your hand, right? 150 of those, and all you need is to say that it's a street taco. You just need the tortilla, you just need the meat, a little bit of cheese, a little bit of lettuce, maybe some hot sauce.
Yeah, I think
That is all
the
you need.
biggest hangout would be the tortilla.
Yeah, that's gonna take up the most space.
I'm also going to give you I'm just going to give you a few others that I got.
Okay.
Greg, our friend Greg, said that he could eat 8 to 10 large bags of beef jerky in 12 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
And then Will said, our friend Will, hopefully to be on the podcast at some point.
Yeah.
Don't know. He said that he could eat 2 pounds of tortilla chips and salsa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you
These
shot
are
yourself
all
in the foot
very,
by
like-
saying 2 pounds.
These are
You
all
can
very
eat 2
like,
pounds of
you have
anything.
12 hours. These are all very easily digestible things.
Dude, I don't think. I think yours is the most realistic, Adam.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, 300 of those in 12 hours.
Yeah, I
Easy.
think that's the most realistic. 150 street tacos, though.
Yeah.
I don't see that.
Dude, I could do that tonight. I don't know where we're gonna find 150 street tacos, but I could pound those down right now.
There's a street taco place just right down the road here.
Well, maybe to save some freaking money, we should just make them. But I could do that. I could easily, because 12-hour period
Yeah.
of this. All right, you just need to let your stomach settle. Okay, like every 3 hours, you eat some, wait 3 hours, let it kind of move around a bit, because within 12 hours you're gonna poop, right? Can I say poop in this
Yes.
podcast?
Yeah, you're good.
See, for Pocky, I'm going to smash 150 of them in like 20 minutes.
And you're barely gonna feel
And
full.
then I'm going to take a nap. Wake up a few hours later.
I think you could
see
do-
if I'm hungry again, then smash the other 150.
I think you could do 500. You're not gonna feel good.
I thought about saying 500, but like I didn't want to push myself.
I'm so glad we brought this up on the podcast.
Yes. It's I think people, because it's not just until you feel full, it's until you can't eat anymore. That's
Yeah.
that's the idea I'm going
Yeah,
for.
that is the idea.
Because
for it.
eventually you're just got to give up,
Yeah.
right? And I think people underestimate how much they can actually put away. It's their brain that's stopping it. I'm not trying to like be this like,
Would you drink anything with it?
I'll drink water.
Water, okay.
I think anything else might fatigue my flavor, or like my palate
Sure.
rather. So
A lot of the professional eaters, they'll drink like a soda
Yeah.
to like help with the gas bubbles and get
who
them out.
who's your guys' favorite? Every guy has one.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite professional eater on YouTube?
Beard meets food.
Yes, very good.
Yeah, Beard Meets Food. That's who it is for me too.
Eric the Electric is awesome.
I haven't heard of
I
him.
love his content. I would recommend him
There was
so much.
there was a guy, and he was really popular in like the 2014 to 2018 is what I want to say.
I know exactly. Is he the one who ended up having cancer?
No, I don't know. He's the Asian dude.
Oh no. Yeah. That guy.
And I watched a lot of his videos
I remember
when I was
he's-
in high school.
Yeah. He does like weird TikToks now.
Yeah,
Like,
I saw
he's
he
very
kind of dropped
leftist.
off a little bit.
I think he dropped out of like eating food all the time
Yeah.
competitively. But now I think his TikToks are really, really funny.
Okay,
But
maybe I'll go check him out.
He's definitely like super leftist on there. Not a bad thing. Well, sometimes a bad thing. So I remember the first time I was over at your house, Adam.
Okay.
Oh boy.
This is maybe a little bit sad. I was over at your house. I think did I stay the night? Either stayed the night or I just hung out there. But I remember you telling me years later that your mom. I didn't go hang out there for a while afterwards. I don't think I was invited back. And I think because you said your mom said that if he comes over next time, can he take a shower? He smelled like cigarette smoke the entire time.
Well, like I think, and this wasn't your fault, but like for a lot of your childhood,
Yeah.
you were in some really bad housing development, and like just the water wasn't good, and you weren't able to like
My mom smoked
get
around me
a
and stuff
proper, and that it was it too, and so
Yeah.
like, and it was like a big thing because like I remember defending you in high school all the time,
I appreciate that.
and like middle school too, because like, and like it wasn't your fault. But
Yeah.
like you had like a smell, and like for some reason, like the smell would get into things. It was probably the cigarette stuff.
Yeah, I think it was.
And like people would be like, "Dude, he stinks." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, he's impoverished."
Yeah, I was. Well, yeah, let's not sugarcoat it. No, I was living like under the poverty line a lot, like
Yeah.
all my childhood, right? And my mom like didn't really like do my laundry a lot. I love you, Mom. I hope if you're listening to this, I love you. But like, didn't I eventually, when we had like a decent place, I was able to just do my own laundry. But like most of the places we had did not have reliable laundry units. Okay, so a lot of times I just wore like the same clothes, which is, it's gross. My mom smoked in the house a lot, and so I was around it a lot. We had dogs that just honestly just helped themselves wherever they wanted to go to the bathroom in the house. So that just coagulated a really bad smell. I don't know how I got girlfriends in high school because I did. And let me tell you, if you even smell bad like that, some girls will still want to date you. Not saying they're keepers, but they, it'll happen. But yeah, eventually I started smelling better. And yeah.
It's funny because like I'm not saying this about you.
No, it's fine.
I'm not using you as an example.
Yeah.
But like
But I'm using
people,
you as an example.
people will come up to me and be like some of the youth or like young adults be like, I don't know if I'll ever get like a partner because like I suck or like this or that. I'm like, listen, buddy.
Listen.
I have seen some downright nefarious, like terrible people get married and have relationships.
Yeah.
I think you're okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Downright nefarious people whose relationships last too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to share a story, and it's about a darker time in my life
Okay.
of being a Christian, but still like having my own demons.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It is a funny story. I promise
Okay.
it does lead to fun.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I would get high in people's basements, and I was at this one basement one time, and I was high. I was very, very open about my past. But he had a string cord for the light in his bathroom, and I went to go. I was trying to find it, and apparently he's filming me. There's a video of this happening somewhere. I don't know where it is. And I finally grab what I think is the string cord to turn on the light. And I remember pulling it and then being on the floor. What had happened was I had grabbed my hoodie string. And I just pulled, and I pulled myself right to the floor. And I'm just laying on the ground. I'm like, the light's still not on.
Idiot.
And
this is why you shouldn't do drugs, right?
yeah,
there.
this is that's the reason why you should not do drugs.
Absolutely.
Because stupid stuff like that happens.
That is the cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I don't know where that story came from. I figured
I
it
appreciate
fit
it,
in
though.
though. I don't know
very
why.
much appreciate it though.
But I feel like this conversation is a very good conversation, but I do need to respect everyone's time that listens to this podcast. Hey Adam, do you have any prophetic words for us?
To end off the podcast, yes, I do. So we've been talking a lot about like church plants, you know.
Yeah.
But the plant that we don't talk about a lot is the plant that we're a part of. Because you see, the Lord, he says that he is the vine and we are the branches.
Amen.
He is what supports us. He is what uplifts and we are rooted to, you know. And by the Lord, I mean our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Let's go, brother.
Hallelujah. Good
Say
stuff.
amen.
Well, Ronnie, thank you for being on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you very much,
Of
Ronnie.
course.
I'm so glad that you were able to be here and do it.
I'm sorry I couldn't think of more stories of our childhood.
It's okay.
I think
you
we
don't remember.
filled in the time
they're
very
not,
well.
They're
That's
not
right.
important to you.
We were trying to be the next Smosh, but
I'm
nothing
I'm
ever.
over here being all negative.
None of our YouTube videos that we ever made really made it past like 100
Yeah,
views or
no.
so like that. But that's okay.
Oh well.
And thank you, listeners, for listening to this podcast
We love you so much.
so much.
If you're a wrestling fan, happy WrestleMania weekend, because that's why I'm here this weekend.
Well, this episode won't come out WrestleMania weekend.
I know,
Okay.
but I'm
Just
filming
make
it
sure.
before it.
But yeah, other than that, for everything Staring at Hot Wheels, follow us on Instagram at StaringHW Pod. And yeah, we love you guys so much.
Go listen to us on Spotify and YouTube. You're probably listening to us on one of those already. But
Yeah, good stuff.
If you're in a small college campus in the Northwest, look up Resonate Church to see if we're near you. Join, get connected. Resonate Church.
we didn't say you
Resonate.net.
could shout out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm joking.
I'm sorry. Might as well shout out my church, Resonate.net, and then any other social medias will be connected there. Okay, that's my shout out.
Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves
And we
you.
love you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening. And thank you, Ronnie.
Of course.
All right.
Thanks
All
for
right.
paying me. I'm
Hi-
just kidding.
Are you paying him?
No, I don't have any money.
I'll take magic cards. That's what I'll do.
All right, you can take a box.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.